Hello everyone, my name is Desmond, Senior Regional Product Manager for Epson Singapore. Before we begin today's webinar, there are some house rules we would like you to take note of. All participants have been muted throughout the webinar session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type your question using the Q&A option located right below. Our product specialists will answer you as soon as possible. If you encounter any technical difficulties, please get our attention by using the raise hand option. Do expect that there will be some lag in the video playback, but your local representatives will be sending you the video upon request. Finally, we would like to request you to participate in a short survey at the end of the session to improve your overall experience for our next webinar. Today, we are very delighted to have very special speakers from CGS to share their remote color proofing system benefits with us. During the presentation, they will also be showcasing how their solution works the best based on the different scenarios. Our guest speakers for the day are Yen Wei Pin, Regional Manager, Southeast Asia, and their Product Manager, Marcus Brun. Without further ado, I shall now hand over the time to them. Yen, please.
First, I would like to thank Epson for organizing this FFP Forum 2021. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yan Wei Pin. I'm the Regional Manager for CGS Publishing Technology International GmbH. I'm 20 years in this color management. So I've been working with CGS since 2011. Yeah, and because of also helping, with this knowledge, I'm also helping, customers, and also to advise them what to do and helping them towards the certifications for 12647s on printings. So without further delays, I would like to talk about a little bit of my presentations, today to you on remote proofing. So we will have two sessions. The first sessions is I will do introductions about the products and the company's histories, and followed by my colleagues will be sharing you the technologies of our products and how it works. Yeah. Okay. So if you can see in the screens, our passion is color management. So we have been in the color management business, for a long time period, and our products, today is basically, I would like to share with you the products that we are having is basically on for proofing and prototyping. And some of you may know that we have been a long-term partner with Epson since 2000. So this is more than 20 years. Where the first light up of Epson's printers, we have since Epson 3000, I believe, yeah, since long time ago. And when the technology evolved, also we have worked with Epson on even the latest machines on the eco solvents, especially on the S8600. Okay. So just a little bit introductions of the company. CGS is the global leader in color management, digital proofing, and also due to media that we require to do proofing, and obviously it's not so easy for customer to look for media, and we are having this media. And our company founded in 1985, a 30 years old company, and headquarters located in Heidelberg, about 25 kilometers from Frankfurt. And you can see that we have operations in US, Japan, and other countries as well. I based out of Malaysia, Penang, and we have colleagues in Hong Kong and also Tokyo, Japan, and we have our headquarters in Heidelberg, Germany, as I said just now to you, and also Minneapolis in USA, right? So if you see that, we have about 90 people around the world, and out of the 90 people, 20 of us are in R&D. So it means the company are really focusing on technologies, how to develop softwares, and most of us actually having the experience from leading printings, publishing and graphic art associations here. And our main core business is basically to work with the reseller. And you can see the photos on this is actually a photo that we have since Drupa 2016. Too bad we have missed the Drupa 2020 due to pandemic. Yeah, so everything was canceled. A little bit of introductions about key competence. CGF is a RIP vendors. RIP, as a lot of people understand, is a raster image processor. So the whole idea is basically allowing a software controls. And basically, if you want to link to the printer, this is possible to have a RIP software in order to raster the whole image and send it to printer. Yeah. So we are the first few vendor basically adopting Adobe PDF engines. Yeah. And Adobe PDF, we call it APPE, which is very important that in the graphic industries, a lot of designers, and using Adobe applications, and this will make us to have a backward compatibility with all the PDF. Yeah. So the other part of it is also CGS has pattern inductive color corrections, allow the software to do a closed loop calibrations, to get the standard much more easier. So basically we put on our artificial intelligence, that are in the software, so that allow all the user are able to achieve the same standard by going through a closed loop calibrations. Yeah. So we also have the standards, like for example, in the European standard that we are following, FOGRA 39, FOGRA 51, in Europe part, and also the GRACO standard in the US part as well. So over in Asia, we are basically having these two standards. Yeah. So our software out from the box are able to have these profiles. Since the market improving, of lacking of media, and it's not so easy to find media, as I say to you just now. And we work with our suppliers, in order to introduce our own media. And this media is all basically has been FOGRA certified, and also this media are allowed us out from the box that you are able to get standards, based on the printers and the profiles. Yeah. So the other part of it, we start seeing, technologies are getting more and more, and we have this cloud-based color management solutions, which is our links, allow you to do calibrations on the cloud. And also, more important is actually these days people are talking about multi-channel separations that allow customers to do color conversions, where you have a lot of spot colors. You would like to mix this, to print in 6 color or 7 color modes. We have this kind of technology on our product called XGarment. So a little bit history of this 35 years old company. Yeah, since I'll share you a little bit of timeline of the company. In 1985, we start a company called DG Design, and eventually we start introduce a product called Oris, ORIS. So that's why you will see the company name CGS Oris. Why these two words joined together? Because it was a creative systems then, and then in 1995 we renamed the company to CGS Publishing Technology International, GmbH, and we're close to Drupa that 2000s, where we started to drive the Epson printer as an inject proofing solutions. During that time, proofing is no longer that easy. You need to have a different device to do that, but with the Epson technology, injects drop on demand piezo technology allow us to work with Epson together to create proofing markets. And we have sold more than 10,000 solutions install base. And you can see the timeline that also, because of the market require color management on monitor, and we also introduce Oris soft proofing, and then color tuners eventually that we have products that involve coming along. Yeah. So in 2005 you can see that products are changing, and they require more like hybrid solutions. CGS launched a product called Oris Color Tuner Web, where allow customers to use on the hybrid environment. For example, like a lot of designers are working in Macintosh environments or Apples, and they'd like to have a controls over the webs where we can support drop on demands through our browsers that drop the files into the Windows applications. Yeah, so this is what the web's proofings hybrid solutions has been introduced. And we also work with Oris press matches that because of the US having a demand, we work with GRACO standards on the Indigos as well. And over you can see the timeline that in 2015 we have 30 years, and then we launched also 2016 we launched some products like Oris CFX. This is the technology that allow you to do spectral controls, on the spot colors. With these informations, you can carry a spot color profiles across or integrated into a PDF, allow you to do colors informations to move along with the PDF. Then we have XGamut. We also win an award from EDP, European Digital Press Award on the best color management software in 2018. Right. So let's go into a topic a little bit. Thanks to let you know the overall introductions of the company. And then today we'd like to talk about the Auris Color Tuner, because with Auris Color Tuner allow you to do remote proofings. When you have products, locations A and location B, you would like to have these two solutions to print the same. Yeah. Okay. So a short introductions about this Color Tuner. So we renamed the products, and from Auris Color Tuner Web, we dropped the name to Web because it's understood. So yeah, so this is the proofing solutions that are for agency, for designer, and pre-press and printing company. So they require a proof, colors, to judge before they go for printing. So proof become a communication centers, to make sure that the color is correct before the designers or the end user would like to see this proof before you go for printing. So with the right solutions, you can easily cost effectively produce a proof today with Epson proof printers. Yeah. So with the right medias and the softwares and the printers, you can produce this reliable and accurate proof. Okay. So with these solutions, like what the theme today is, talking about remote proofing, we are able to print out from any locations around the world. Yeah. So we start with proofing, no longer just CMYK. We also talk about, spot color, like Pantones, like brand colors, that the customer would like to use these technologies, to make sure that the PDF files contain spectral data, like what I shared with you with one of the products, that you can incorporate a spectral data into the PDF. Yeah, and this will be mainly used in the hexachromes or multi-channel requirements when we do packaging proofing. So Epson also launched, a spectral proof, a spectral photometers. We call it as a spectral proof. That this is a fully integrated, into our software without a user interventions. So it means that those days you require external measurement tools, to do the measurements. But if you have an Epson spectral proofers, our software is supporting it, so that the whole calibrations, can be done so easily, without you need to get in, cut out the paper to put into the measurements. Yeah, so this is all built in by itself, and the software will do all the automations to make sure that the color control were able to achieve to a certain standards. Yeah, so it means our software is having this inline measurements from Epson. We are fully integrated. With these kind of solutions, it's much more easy that if you have a remote locations where there is no technicians or anybody there, that they still require a calibrated proof. This is possible. Yeah. So Pantone Live is also one of the very important, colors that are required by a lot of FMCG companies. For example, Procter & Gamble, Unilevers, that they will use spectral data much more easier in this case. Right. So the next slide. So the diagrams of what you see on the slide here is basically to show you, where the printings, the digital proof is, and how we can work on it. Yeah. So you can see this screen is, we have, as I told you, we have this Auris soft proofing, which is you can actually view this color files correctly on the monitors, and eventually you can print it out, from the Epson printer with our software. And lastly, you are able to use the spectral proofers, from Epson, to allow you to do certifications. Obviously, this is also possible with the external tool as well. Yeah. So digital proofing must have certifications in order to allow you to achieve ISO 12647-7 standards. This is where the proofing criteria They have certain controls, and this is actually practicing by a lot of brand agencies, printing associations, and companies that are towards print standards. Yeah. So a lot of proofing solutions today have equipped this media wedge, which is a 3-line control bus that need to be measured in order to show the proof is according to the standards. Okay, so as I told you, it's a web-based applications, so this is much more easy to integrate into a lot of any existing workflows. Many designers, as I say, that they are using Mac, so what we have to do is just do a drag and drops, a file through Safari in this case. And we also built in the visits, that allow the customers, that do not have special skills that in color management, but they are able to get the same result with an experienced user. So we put this artificial behind it, so that allow the closed-loop calibrations to run. Yeah. So our software also client and server-based ready. So it means you do not need to install a third-party application into the client side in order to work and control the client software. Yeah. So proofing become very important, and because of the standards has been established by, for example, like FOGRA, WOP, Seikograph, PPA, and 3D AP. So we have all these standards built in. Yeah. So out from the box, as you can see here, is a client and server-based architectures, and it means customer do not need to do anything at all. Yeah. So on the browser, he will not able to log in, and then he see exactly the same interface in our proofing solutions. So it means they can sit in front of the computer as a designer to drop in the files without any problems at all. Yeah, rather than you have to hire a dedicated guy just to do a proofing. So this problem or this particular task can be actually done by the designer itself. Yeah. So out from the box here, you will notice that the printer itself, we have about tolerance. Yeah. So this tolerance, sometimes can be vary from printer model to model. So based on criteria that we do some investigations. The maximum delta E from printer to printer can be same model, can be same family. They can have as high as delta E of 8. The average delta E about 4. So if you look into the whole test chart of ECI 2002, our idea is basically to bring this tolerance as close as possible. So this will allow customers to able to control or to either you print from the printer 7900s, or you print from a different printer as small size as a desktop printers, and then the color have to be the same. Yeah. So with our core technology, as I told you, we in order to get the interactive color matchings with the right substrates, we are able to achieve as low as 0.5 in the average, and the maximum not more than 3 delta E's. So it means based on the 1,185 patches of colors, you will notice that this tolerance, is almost identical to each other, printer to printers. Yeah. So what is remote proofing? Remote proofing is the idea that proofing equipments that place in each in a customer office, but allow the printer to work together. Yeah. So allow means in this case, if you have a printing company and the customer want to have a proof, and that this is easier by sending the PDF files over across. So by sending the file across, maybe it's much more easier that if these two printers are working together, or printers and customer are working together. So the printing company can put a proofing system into the customer place so that he can proof it much more easy on site without need to worry about courier out, back and forwards, sending the PDF across. So it's EGS, we consider even if you have a two printer together, can be next to each other. We also consider this as a remote proofing because we need to get both of the printer to achieve certain standards. Yeah. So in my previous slides, we talk about the tolerance. This is one of the key elements of criteria of remote proofing. And what is the benefits, of remote proofing is first we talk about time saving, and you do not need to. So the designer have a lot of works, for example, and that designer work late hours, and they spend a lot of times, creating the files in the finals. So and eventually fast, before the deadlines, they have it literally, maybe five minutes before the deadlines, and then they click accept. And obviously, they have to send it to a printing company that very far away. And for example, so in this case, if you have a design agency in Singapore and the printing company is in Bangkok, so it means they have to basically courier down this proof. Yeah. So Singapore design have sent the files to Bangkok, to Thailand, and then eventually they have to make a proof and courier back, to make sure that the colors, what they see is okay before they get it to show to the customer to get it approved. And this problem can be resolved, by without sending courier proof to the customer. So it may take 2 days, for example, to get things arrived. So with remote proofing, these applications, can avoid all these delays. Yeah. So remote proofing, I would say, is a long-term solutions to help customers to save, especially on postage. And also this will able to bring, between the relationships and the printer and the customer together, because you are able to provide, as a printing company, you are able to provide a solutions, to help customers as a service. Yeah. So this is the whole benefit of remote proofing. So I will hand over this to Marcus, and let Marcus to share with you a little bit on the scenario.
Okay, good. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having the opportunity to show our solutions here at the LFP Forum 2021. And my part is to show you the remote proof concept from CGS. And thanks to Jan for the introduction of our software and all the other stuff. First of all, I'm just giving you some informations about the speaker, about me. My name is Markus Brune. I'm with CGS since 2007, and I was studying printing technologies at the University of Wuppertal. And I started with CGS as an application specialist, and my today role is to be a product manager of digital print. But also I will give you some overviews what we do have regarding remote proofing. And first of all, I just have a short overview about my presentation, what I do have here for you. And if we are talking about remote proofing, I'm thinking about different scenarios, because it's not only one scenario. So the first scenario I'm going to show you is the simplest one. The easiest one is just uploading a job from a different location to a server, for example. Scenario number 2 would be the scenario of a remote container. This is something very special and very unique, and I will show you how this concept will work. Also, another scenario will be the scenario of proofing via VPN, so via VPN tunnel. And the most time-consuming remote proof scenario would be scenario number 4 from my point of view. I just call it a standalone solution. And of course, if you want to have a contract-proof system, you need also a certification, what Jan was talking about. So you need to read in, for example, a media wedge, and you need to certify. And this is also a part of this kind of remote proof concept, to see which location is doing a good certification or not, which location is in line and which not. And my last topic would be to have a closer look to our certification solution called Aures Evaluate. This is our certification in the cloud, and this will give you the possibility to monitor different locations. Okay, so let's have a look at the first remote proof scenario. I just call it the uploading of a job. What you see here right now is I have 2 locations. I have one location in Germany. There's my Color Tuner server installed, and to the Color Tuner server there is connected an Epson printer with an embedded SpectroProofer. This system has been completely calibrated and profiled to a certain standard as FOGRAPH 39, FOGRAPH 51, Grekel, whatever you like. So whatever house standard you have, you can profile your machine to. You can also work with spot colors. You can set up spot color tables, Pantone spot color tables. You can connect to Pantone Live, download these spot colors to your system. So this server is now set up with an contract-proof valid system. And the other side is the client in Asia, for example. And this client just has a web browser. So if we use a web client, what Jan was talking about, this is just a web browser. So the web browser will give you the possibility to connect to the web server in Germany. And from there, you just drop your files to the web browser, to our system, and the file will be uploaded to our server in Germany and will be printed there. So the customer in Asia can see the process of the printing, and later on you can also see the certification numbers via the web browser. So this is the easiest one. But the second scenario I was talking about is called the remote container scenario, and this is the most famous one and the best one from my point of view. So you see here, for example, 3 different locations. We have one location in Germany. We have also a design agency in Asia in the middle, and we have a printing house in Asia. All of these locations have a locally installed color tuner, and all of them, they have a locally installed Epson printer connected to the service. So first of all, the Germany server side is doing all the work what I was talking about before: calibration, profiling, spot color setting up, set up the queue and everything. If everything is running fine, the operator in Germany is just exporting the remote container. The remote container has all the important informations and files we do need for a contract proof. We have profiles embedded, we have settings of the queue, we have spot color informations, we have calibration information. Everything will be put into this container, and then we send these informations to the remote site in Asia, to the design agency, this remote container, and also we do send these informations to the Asian printing house. So all they have to do is just to import the remote container, and afterwards they have just to calibrate their printers to a certain calibration standard. Because I'm just talking about calibration standard, because every printer, what Jan was talking about was, every printer is a little bit different. And to bring those printers in line, we do a base calibration. And if the operator was doing this base calibration, he just drops his file to his color tuner on his sites, and he's just printing out the same color results in Germany and a design agency and the printing house. And just one important point regarding the remote container. The content here I was talking about is just the printer calibration file, simulation profile, FOGRAPH 51, FOGRAPH 52, whatever you like, spot color libraries, Pantone libraries, and all the important settings. So everything all operators are need, or is need for the operator, is in this container. So this is also a famous remote proofing concept via VPN. This is also a concept customers are using. So we have, in this case, just one server. This server is just installed in Germany, and there's a printer also connected. But now the big difference is the printing house in Asia has also physically an Epson printer, but they do not have a color tuner server installed. So what do they do? They just connect the Epson printer via VPN to the server in Germany. And then the guys in Germany just do a calibration and profiling work at the printer in Asia, at the printing house. If the printer is set up, the people from the Asian printing house could upload their files via the web client, via the web browser from Asia to the server in Germany. And from there, the file will be printed at the Asian printing house without having a locally installed color tuner there. And also, it would be possible to print a file from an Asian design company. If they have no printer, they can connect to the server in Germany, and they can print either a file they can print it in Germany, or they can print it also at the Asian design, Asian printing company, for example. So there is no need to have an installed color tuner at one location. You need just one location and all the other stuff is connected to that, and they can just access it via a web browser from there. And the most time-consuming and most difficult one is the remote proofing standalone situation. So here we would have 3 locations and 3 color tuners, independent from each other: Germany, Asian Design, Asian Printer. But every location has to do all the calibration work, all the profiling work, all the certification, every by himself, and every location independently from each other. So in the end, they would have, of course, the same color result because they're calibrating to the same standard, but the work is much more because everyone is doing the work by himself, and it takes a long time. Okay, so talking about certification in combination with the contract proof system, of course, you can do certification with our software, and the software will tell you the numbers if you're in or if you're out. So what happens if you have 3 different locations, what we have in our example here, but you want to see the results, maybe concentrated in one account? This is also possible. For example, if you have those 3 locations calibrated and profiled, so you could do your certification for each location. And from each location, we could send the certification data to our Auris Color Cloud. Especially, we call it Auris Evaluate. So the certification values will be stored in the cloud. And from there, a user can log in via web browser and can see from one location which printer is inline and which printer is offline, for example, which printer is printing, which is certified, which is not certified. So you have a concentrated view of all your production plans and connected printers in one color cloud. We call it Auris Evaluate. And how does it look, or what is it? So our Auris Evaluate is a tool that it's browser-based as well, and it collects all the measurement files, all the measurement results of a certification in one cloud, and the customer will have an overview of his entire production chain from proof to print, and he can access his data and reports from anywhere in the world because it's browser-based, and so he can see, for example, easier to see in the workflow picture here. We have a certification client, and the certification client can certify any kind of output system. It can be a large format printer, it can be a digital press, it can be a wide format or inkjet printer, it can be a print press. As long as we do a certification on these machines, our client will send these informations to the cloud, to the Evaluate cloud, and there it will be stored, and the user can see a trend of a machine, how the machine was behaving via a special time period, for example. And the certification is done, as I was talking before, with our Auris Certified software. It's a standalone certification software, and we are supporting all important measuring devices from X-Rite, for example, or other vendors. And we do also support the embedded Epson SpectroProfer for the certification. And we can also do a spot color certification. And if you like, you could also do an automatic spot color optimization with the embedded SpectroProfer. So you can print out spot colors, measure that in, and the software automatically optimizes those spot colors with a SpectroProfer and internal algorithm. And in the end, you have an optimized spot color table here. Also, it's possible to, with all of our products, we could connect to Pantone Live spot color library of Pantone, the cloud solution for their spot colors. We could download spot colors from Pantone Live to our applications, and we could also use those spot colors in our application, and we could do a certification with this embedded SpectroProfer of Epson, for example. Just that you have an overview here, what is possible. If you have a closer look at the Evaluate software, what do you need? You just need a web browser, internet access, of course, and you need a username and a password. Log in, and you can see a nice overview of your production plans and your connected printers. And with one glance, you can see which printer is in the tolerance and which printer, for example, is off the tolerance. So it's easy to see which is in a good production and which is in a bad production, for example. And if you want to have more detailed views of a certification, you can go more into detail of a machine and have a look what is the tolerance of the machine and how was the machine, how was the trend of the machine, and have a detailed look at the media wedge. For example, what you see here is a certification of a media wedge, of a foreground media wedge, but it's also possible to define your own standards and your own media wedges. And you can also define your own tolerances, and these informations will be stored here in the cloud. And also important and very interesting for a lot of customers is to get more details and more reports from your machine, from your production plants. And this is also possible. You get different kind of reports of a machine or of a branch, for example, of a production plant. And so it's easy to see what happens at a production plant and where do you have to investigate and where do you have to recalibrate and maybe stuff like this. And if we are talking about this evaluate certification stuff, you see on the right hand side our products, they are able to do a certification and send these certification numbers values to our evaluate color cloud, and then from there it's easy for the brand owner, for example, to see which production plant is in a good shape and in good production. So this is the overview and the different possibilities we do have from our side to do a remote proof scenario in combination with certification. And that's it from my side. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Epson, and have a good day. Thank you.
I hope you have gained better insights after today's webinar and understand how such a total solution can improve your remote color proofing process with Epson printers. Before we end today's session, we would like you to participate in a short survey by scanning the QR code on the screen. You will also be directed to a survey page upon exiting this webinar. Your feedback will allow us to improve your experience for our future webinars. If you are keen on joining our next hourly webinar, you can find out more details and register at our event webpage. Finally, on behalf of the Epson team, we thank you for attending this webinar session, and I hope to see all of you very soon. Take care and goodbye.